Hello, everyone. Welcome to BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. So today we are here with Coach Caren Fern, all the way from Toronto, Canada. She's in the house. And
Good.
we're excited because, Coach, you always get our mind on our money so that we can have a successful business
That's the
and
goal.
also for personal development.
Hmm.
So guys, I want you to get your pencils and papers out, prepare your questions. Coach Karen's got a treat for us today.
Yes.
Oh, how you doing, Coach? All is well?
All is well. All is well.
All is well.
Hmm.
So what's on the table today?
Today we're talking about cash flow movements. I thought it was
Okay.
a great subject to bring to the table, and we'll see
Mhm.
where we go with it. I might bring it back again. There's so much parts of it that I could talk about, but so that's where we're going to start today, because I think we need to. I always like start at the beginning, guys, and I always like to let you guys know that we can use this in business. Yes, that's why I'm coming here, but it's also great to think about personally.
Yes.
I tell my clients and I tell people all over that if you start understanding your running your personal life as a business, you
Mhm.
will always be in the black. You won't be in the red, because even if you were there, you'll pull yourself out and then you'll figure out how to continuously be there. So we're going to talk both things today. So briefly, I'm going to go in and talk about what we're going to look at and then get back into it. So we're going to talk about what is cash flow, how
Mhm.
it works, and how do we use it efficiently. Because we hear the word cash flow, we hear you should have that in your business, but sometimes, well, I recognize that sometimes people just don't know about it. Because I
Mhm.
talked to a few business people last week while I was off, and I realized how many of them didn't really understand some things. I was on vacation, but some business people in the crowd, so we had some good discussion.
Okay.
And yeah, so this seems to be a topic that I'd like to dive into. So first, we'll talk a little bit. What is cash flow? Cash flow is money received, which signifies inflow, and monies spent or cash spent signifies outflow. And that's where we get our flow. That's what happened with the flow. We have to understand that. Cash flow is not about profits. Cash flow is really so how it works. It helps demonstrate health of one's company. If your company don't have any cash flow, it's probably in a state that needs attention like yesterday. Okay, we need to figure out how to get that out. And how does it work? How we use it efficiently. That's what we're going to talk about, because that's the important part. So all right, so
All
now that
right.
we know cash flow is money received, which brings in the money, right? Not
Mhm.
necessarily revenue, but it's just the action of what happens. So I want to be clear here. Revenue is when we market and we sell something, whether it's a product or services. That's your revenue. Cash flow, I'm going to get a little bit here. I'm really going to talk more about that probably next week, but I want to really clarify this in the beginning, and then I'm probably going to talk about it continuously. Cash flow is after you've paid for all that you get the revenue in, you do a whole bunch of stuff, and the money that left over, it's not your profit. It's after all of that you able to do things with. Okay. And I'm gonna get further into it. So these words, you probably hear them around and you probably use them yourself, but I really want you to get used to what it is. That's why sometimes when people hear about financial statements and these sort of things, they get so confused because we use so many different language. The people who's in accounting and bookkeeping and stuff and they were financial, we think it's just okay to keep spilling it around. But if you don't understand it, it confuses people. So I'm hopeful that today I can, break it down and talk a little bit about it in layman's terms, not all the debits and credit stuff. Because I have to pull back myself and say, Karen, we're not talking debit and credit because, it's just in your head and you want to do. We want to really make time talking about it. And it's the flow of money. Cash flow is really what it sounds like, the flow of money. Your business is healthy if money is flowing through. And don't panic, guys. If you're at the beginning of your business, cash flow is not going to be plentiful. It's going to be a very little bit. And one of the things you have to get in your head is doing little bits and then allowing it to grow. Don't try to get there all at once. Don't try to get there all at once. A friend of mine, son, did, what is it? Um, Driving a boat on water, something skiing, right? And water skiing. And he never done it before. And what the instructor said to him, don't worry with the people that is going quickly. You go as slow as possible and then pick up speed. So for the 30 minutes, for the first 10 minutes, he looked like he's just walking on the water with the boat. It wasn't moving much. But as we watch him progress within 30 minutes, he was not speeding like anybody else, but he was learning technique, how to keep himself on the bike, and how to not fall off the bike. He had a life jacket. And so in people's eyes, it looks like, why is he speeding? But he got off and he told us, he said, the next time I get on, I'm going to know what to do. Because although I didn't want to follow all the rules, it really helped me to keep myself balanced, to keep myself in the lane, because he was going in and out of the lane. Think about driving a car, going in the lane initially, it's hard. And he was able to do some curves. He was able to move over and come back. So that's what you want to think about with your money. You're not going to do it perfect. You're not going to have all your ducks in a row. So don't be afraid. You're going to do this thing little by little, whether it's $2, $3, $5, $100, it's going to be very little. And this is something you don't have to tell anybody. You just have to be doing it and doing it and doing it. People these days only want to hear about big money. The truth is, everybody that has big money started out with no or little to no money unless it was gifted to them. And most smart people, when money is gifted to them, they really want to make their own too. They rather go out and make their own because it's giving a sense of pride, this feeling of accomplishment. So, you're coming in with a lot of things. Also, the other thing I want to make clear, most people, if you pass your 20s, you're coming in with a lot of experience. Do not push that to the side. Not knowing money doesn't mean you don't have experience in other areas. Okay. So when you start seeing yourself as an experienced person, you feel less like you don't know what to do.
Oh.
And it give you the encouragement, and it open up the airways so you can learn. Sometimes people don't realize that they're blocking themselves from learning something because they're feeling so pent up of what they don't know.
Yes.
You know what I mean, Terry? Like, they don't know.
Oh yeah. And after a while, you just throw your hands up.
But really, you're coming in with experience, just not in this specific area. Okay, that's all it is, just not in this specific area, but you coming in with experience. Don't ever forget that. So just remember that cash flow is really, all it is money received, the cash flow received. It's the inflow when it's coming in. When you receive it, you get it, right? When you spent it, is the cash flow that's going out. It's something we deal with in the balance sheet. I'm only throwing in the balance sheet because it's something I want you to get used to the word. That's why I'm throwing it in. Not necessarily for you to worry about it, but to understand the word. Because when you go talk to your accountant, if you're now starting out, I promise you, take an hour of their time and let them talk to you. Or take an hour of your time and let a bookkeeper talk to you. Because there's no point being afraid of these conversations because it's going to help you later on in life. I feel I had a lot of conversations with people before I was ready. Don't wait till you're ready. Have these conversations. Book some time with them. Pay for it. And allow them to educate you in a way that it's not jarring or it's not going to, they're not pressuring you to buy anything more. You're just having this conversation. And why I say pay for that time, it's because you can go on YouTube, you can go on Google, but when somebody talk to you, they're going to address the things that you need addressing. When it's wide open, the things you really want addressed, you don't get addressed. It's all over the place because nobody's there answering your question, but broadly. So, questions are better answered on YouTube or Google when you have some idea versus when you don't know at all. That's what I found for me and a lot of people I talk to. So maybe not you, but you need to have some kind of sense of what you're looking for answer.
Some kind of direction.
Yes. Because then it makes the information you're receiving more palatable. Also, you're able to do something with it, Like you're able to take it and actually do something with it. If not, you're like, but I didn't get anything. It's like when people get into groups that I'm in, my bookkeeping group, for instance, and they'll say, I saw this on YouTube or I Googled it, but I still don't get it. But that's because they don't know the language yet. So even though Google
Yes.
answered the question, they couldn't do anything with it. But when they get in the group and they talk to us, we can easily say, oh, you need to do this with it. You need to take it and see it as it's a debit. But what does debit mean? It means the money comes in your pocket. But if you don't know bookkeeping, you think it means debt. And that was what's happening in our brain. And
Yeah.
credit means when you owe the money, and that's often liability. So getting somebody who's in the financial area to explain it to you and make it simple, and you don't have to read sentence upon paragraphs or, you know,
Yes.
you're like, oh, that's what I need. That's what I need. So that's why I say these things, right? And how does it work? How it works? It helps demonstrate the health of your company. It lets you know. So there's a whole bunch of things, and as I said, all this month I'm coming to talk about it. That happens in a business. And I know when you're starting out, it doesn't feel like all of this is important. But I like to get my clients to get it on a spreadsheet, whether it's Google, you know, if you're using Google spreadsheet or Excel, and you start understanding where these things fall, because
Okay.
it really helps you to know if your business is profitable or you're working towards profitability. This was a great idea, but how does it work? It's like I hear on TikTok a girl was like, I tell sell t-shirt, but I couldn't really tell you if I'm making money or not. And I thought to myself, don't say that. And I asked, and she said the trouble was I bought the t-shirts. I wasn't expecting the shipping and handling to be so expensive, and then the custom fees, and just there's so many things that they don't tell you. That's, well, they tell you, but it's in the fine print that she didn't think was important to read. She totally take ownership on it, but we all tell her you might be losing some money now, but it's a lesson that you need to learn fast. You need to learn it really, really fast because you need to understand these things. If you're going to be a one-man show, that doesn't mean when you run a business you don't need to understand labor costs. You need labor costs,
Mm.
you need material costs, you need time costing. There's all these things that you need to really cater for, so that even though what you're doing might fall into these specific categories, you have enough cash flow to use for these categories. And that's why we want you to categorize things. Okay,
Hmm.
you can understand it. You're making money. Somebody remember telling me once, a client of mine, she said, I'm making a lot of money in my business. And I said, so are you? So let's talk about what's going on. And really and truly, the business was making a lot of money, but it looked like a lot of cash was coming in. But the materials price were going up. Um, and she recognized the labor hours were longer than she thought they were because she was enjoying it, of course. And she had this tiny little pocket of cash flow that was happening, and we had to fix that really quickly. And then talk a minute about that. Initially she fought me on it because when in your head you think you're making money, is somebody coming like me and say, hey, the company's not really making no particular money. I
Hmm.
don't like it. I don't like it myself. I don't want to hear that. So I'm like, don't take this as a bad thing. Let's figure out how we're going to fix this. Here's what you're going to need to do. And this is what you're going to have to do. Think about it as this way, guys. If you borrow a loan and you're paying it back, it's the same thing as if you're doing it for yourself. So in her case, she had money invested, and I wanted her to invest a little bit more and put her on a pay scale of repayment. That way, the company has enough body to sustain what was happening within the company.
Uh-huh.
So at the end of, we had a 90 days that we were working towards. At the end of 90 days, everything could be paid off, and we can get her in the black and the money. Now she's no longer in the red, and she can truly see profit. The business truly have a cash flow happening. She rarely see money coming in and going out, and it really can do what we said it's going to do. And there's this little bite that leaves over. All right, and we want to have that. And how will we use it efficiently?
Yes.
This is the key. Here is the key here. You want to have it because we can pay down debt if we had debt. We can invest it, and we can expand the business. I hear several times people will come online and say, I put dump all my money back into business. And I want to tell you, that's not a good idea unless you have another income that pays your bills.
Mm-mm.
It's not true. It makes no sense, zero sense. And this is not from the books, this is from lived experience. If you don't have enough money to sustain you, you can't expand your business because then your lights are going to go off, there's going to be no water, and you can't eat. And if you can sustain you, how are you going to sustain your business?
Yes, you need transportation. Yeah, and you need communication.
You do. And
Mm.
we got to factor in, we might not feel well some days. We might get burned out by just going and going. So
Huh?
if we don't have, and people don't like to hear this, they're like, I just want to quit my job. Yeah, I want you to, but I want you to plan to leave the job, which means we're going to talk about how you're going to save towards coming off of the job. We're going to talk about what the money's going to do while it's waiting for you to, do what it is you got to do. As simple as school. I'm going to go right back to student loans. When I borrow my student loan and I got the lump sum, instead of just keeping it in the bank, I didn't know that at the time. A bank told me we're in Canada, so we have different things. We had GICs, and she says, Karen, put the money in a GIC. It's not going to give you a lot, but it can give you something. And
Mm-hmm.
the more money you put in investment, the more you get back. The more whatever that percentage is will be for you. It wasn't much. I think it was 3.5%, but it was. I wanted it in a GIC and nothing bigger because it allowed me to take it off with no penalty.
Mm-hmm.
That was key because I could get more interest, but with more penalty, I would gonna balance itself out.
Yes.
So we came up with a strategy where to put the money and use it strategically. So the tiny bit that I get off of it allowed for my transportation and my little food money. That's it.
Yes.
It didn't do big, but it did something.
Yes.
You
And
see,
it was planned. Yes.
right? Back to the planning. Remember early this year, guys, last year's I was talking about planning, systemizing, getting things in order. All this stuff I've been telling you guys leads up to all these things, right? You really
Mm-hmm.
want to get yourself organized. Organize, I think the reason a lot of people don't like organization, for the ones who don't, it's because it feels like they're being told what to do. And discipline is about telling you what to do. But remember, you're the one that's telling you. So there's no need to fight you on it because it's you that's telling you.
Okay.
All right? I'm going to say that again. It's you that is telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. When you get up Monday morning, people do not like Mondays because they're associating it with the job they had or they're still in. I love Mondays, even when I had a job. It's a brand new week. I can do a whole bunch of things, but I understand I'm the 10% of the people. I get it. Start loving Mondays, people. Mondays are good days. Love upon Monday. That's why I decided Monday is make more money Mondays because it's leading into the rest of the week. I Once I name it that, it give me more juice in my veins. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
So you want to love in on the days. I say prep everything you want to do on Sunday evening. Get your dinner done. Take a shower if that's what you want to do, a bath, whatever you want to do is your routine. But then sit with yourself for an hour or two so that you don't feel hurried up. And
Mm.
if you were going to watch a movie or just scroll on your phone, fine. But I want you to set aside an hour or two and just sit there and decide what the week will look like. For the first 10, 15 minutes, just dream about how great your week is going to be. Sit in there, understand it. Look at it from an emotional point of view. Look at it from a soul point of view, a spiritual point of view, and for sure a financial point of view. Just
Wow.
see what our week is going to feel and look like. Be within that feeling. Enjoy it, right? And then
Yes.
spend time writing about it for the next 15 minutes. Whatever come to mind, just let it flow out of you.
Wow.
And that's a 30 minutes. And when you start, you might not have much to say or do, but it's okay. You start. And then for the next hour and a half now is where the things that came up that you're going to write about, you're going to systemize them. You're going to decide what happened that week. Maybe you had a bunch of things planned before, but you're recognizing those things are not really getting you to where you want to be. So don't be afraid to get rid of them and do this great stuff that is happening now. Guys, when you start over something, you're not starting from scratch. You have experience. You know what you want to do. So if you change the week, It doesn't change what you want to do. It just changes how you're going to operate in that week to make it come to you at a different pace and time, right? Maybe this week you're looking at, a lot of sales activity, what that entails for me. Maybe this week you're looking at marketing, because sometimes marketing and sales go hand in hand, but marketing is more the long game. Sometimes you need to bring in money right away. So you're looking at sales. And that really means, this is part frightens people, that really means how many calls am I going to make? How many emails am I going to send out? Who am I going to get into their DMs? Who am I going to have
Mhm.
conversation with? Who am I going to check up on? Maybe I need to leave my home and actually go walk around and talk to people. These scary things, maybe this is the week for it. And I gotta tell you, it didn't matter how long you're in sales. When you're returning to it, it feels difficult and hard.
Uh-huh.
It feels like a thing you don't want to do. But that is the thing you gotta do. Because how else are you gonna bring in revenue? Don't listen to everybody who make it feels like they're just clicking their fingers and people are falling down the pipeline. They're just trying to get you excited. I'm not a girl who's gonna get you excited just to buy something. I'm gonna tell you the truth. You're gonna do some work. You're gonna have to make some calls.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome real estate agents do a lot of cold calling. Even if they're not doing it themselves, they pay for it. They pay somebody to do it. But they themselves need to get on the phone and start talking to you at some point. Awesome real estate agents go when they have no houses to show, they go to other people's showings, or they go to their early showings and then they go after. Mortgage brokers, there was a time in my life where every weekend I went to open house, not because I was buying a house at the time. I had my house ready. I was looking around to see what was available, what was out there. I was keeping in trend with that. And I can't tell you how many mortgage brokers I would meet there, how many other realtors I'd meet there, investment people, financial planners, people who is just getting there and just talking to people, telling us what they do. If you look interested, hand you a card, but just have a conversation. Okay, they're getting out and about, especially from May all the way to probably around September. People are out and about. I myself, next week, I'm going to be out a lot. This is the season to go and network and meet and talk to people. You might not sell, but if you talk to 100 people, at least two people will be interested in you. I promise you. And all of a sudden, if you can do that, you got two new clients every month. Don't listen to people with a whole bunch of stuff. You will get two clients. Imagine if you were doing a business that costs several thousands of dollars and you get two people each month. At the end of the year, you would have 24 clients. And if whatever you're doing costs thousands of dollars, multiply that by 24, guys. Okay. And then multiply it again by whatever. Okay. You do the math. My slogan, I was telling my kids, I says, if teachers had said this in school, I think kids will love math more. Mathematics equal money. Mathematics equal finances. People do not like math because they ask all the time, what am I going to do with it when I leave school? Tell them what they're going to do with it. Tell them that they need to understand how to add, multiply, and subtract. Big numbers, how to divide these numbers, why it's going to play a part in their lives. Get them used to calling out and dealing with big monies. When you're not used to dealing with big money, it scares the pants off of you. Every time you see a price point, you freak out. But the truth is, it's just about getting your body and mind in tune with saying $1,000,000. It's a lot of money, yes, but it's really not a lot of money. Say it a couple of times. Let your body get used to hearing it. There's people who do a lot of money, but they don't do it for themselves. So get used to it for yourself. Get used to being able to have it. And it's okay that you have it. Be okay when it's time for you to spend it too, because of what it might do for your business. Be strategic. Don't go crazy spending it, but understand that it's okay to receive it and it's also okay to spend it. You can't just hoard it. When you hoard money, nothing happens. That's the other thing. I don't talk a lot about that, but it's true. You can't just hoard. You got to spend. You got to do money. You see, we talk about cash flow movements. Money is movement. It has to go in and out. It has to be doing something. It has to be,
Currency.
yes, actively moving, moving around, doing things with it. You'll see a difference with it. You'll see a difference in yourself. You're not so bent on being afraid of it. A lot of people are afraid of money.
That's true because we're often afraid of things that we don't really understand,
Yes.
and things that are doing something different for other people, and
Hmm.
we don't know why they're getting a different result.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
And then we get all bottled down with it. But this is the time if you be marketing the beginning of the year right through, now it's time for you to close sales. Now it's time for you to get there, get a mentor, get a coach, let them listen in on a sales call with you, and let them critique and tell you where you can do better. Because when you go away and you're only not used to it, you might be stumbling, and you might not need to be stumbling. They can tell you that's the initial one, you behind the scenes. You can get on sales call and do mock sales calls and have them listening and critique that. You can have them on Zoom, hidden by camera, but just you and them corresponding while you're on the call. There's just so many ways around it to get you comfortable. Not everybody's able to pick up a phone and do it. After a few no's, they won't do it anymore. But knowing that somebody's right there as your wingman or woman helping you through it might, give you a boost of confidence that you can pick it up and keep doing it. Because as much as we talk about cash flow, if no money's coming in, there's none to flow. And this is
Exactly. It's just like having a dried up stream.
right, right.
The riverbed is dry. What you going to do?
Yeah. When I was younger, I remember saying to myself, if you have all this money already, why do you need more? And I realized it's not because people needed more money. That's why they make more money. I realize is over time, it's the action and the behaviors and the habit that they have to form, that if they fall off is not like it can't get back on, but it's harder. So you want to be in it. That's why when people make enough money and they say, well, I feel I have enough money, I don't need any money more, they might get into mentoring money. They might get into going on a bench and sit on a place where their knowledge can still be of use to somebody else.
Hmm.
They get into nonprofit. They do all sort of things to keep them in that span of it. Because as humans, if we don't use what we got, we sort of kind of lose it.
Uh-huh.
We don't keep growing from it. We have to keep in there. I remember when we got a new principal when I was in my high school years. And I did say to her, because she'd had a nice home, she did really well for herself. She used to live in the States for years, and then she came back to Guyana. And at one point, I could see she did not need a job, but she was a teacher, and she was a really good principal. And
Hmm.
our school needed a good principal, and she came and did such wonders for that school. The school was a good school, but she improved the school tenfold, Terry. She
Wow.
did things to that school that was, I think nobody knew that it could get there until she got there.
Yeah.
Let me just say. She taught teachers things. I had a lot of teachers that we got along really well. People used to, well, they're your teachers, but we got along really well because, and I used to like to say this about myself, but I was a highly intelligent child. And so conversations would really inspire me. And I always want to know why somebody want to do what they do.
Uh-huh.
And I had a lot of teachers who said, we didn't like her when she came on board, but she stretched us so much that, that we didn't even think we could do this with ourselves. And she other thing she used to like do with teachers, she'd say, I had two teachers who quit. And she said they weren't real teachers. They came because the prestige. And she had to talk with them and say, you need to go and do what you need to do. Teaching is not for you. And when those two teachers left, they said that she really encouraged them to pursue what they wanted to do.
Okay, so she freed them up to
Hmm.
pursue something that they hadn't really uncovered in themselves, or that they were suppressing so that they could have something that was attainable.
Yes, and their parents at the time, both of those two teachers are younger, and their parents wanted them to be teachers, so they
Yeah.
went along with it. And they were good teachers, but they weren't good nurturers. They were just good teachers. They weren't especially doing anything to help the students in the broader sense. And she
Hmm.
was very much like that. One of the things teachers didn't like, but I thought was such a good, cool thing that she did do. She would sit in at teachers' classes, and we knew when she was going to sit in. It wasn't no surprise. They'll get a letter, and the students it will paste up at the back of the class that she'll be attending that day. And she just sat there quietly, and just observe. She says, I'm not here to do anything, just to observe. And sometimes we're afraid of those things. And I'm going to bring it right back to business people. Let people observe you that you trust, that want to truly help you, to see you shine. There's a lot of people, including myself, the Biz Chicks, who want to see you really shine. Like, that's our goal. That's our goal, to see you shine. Yes, we are businesses, so we need to be paid, but we want to see you shine. We want to see you grow. And we see so much for you. And that's why we help you and tell you and push you to do what it is we're, offering up for you to do. So
Exactly. So, Coach, let's review.
mhm.
Okay.
So today we talk about cash flow movements. We talk about what is cash flow, and it's really
Mhm.
money. Cash flow receive signifies the inflow and the outflow, how it works. It helps demonstrate the health of your company. If your company is not cash flow positive, we got to look at a lot of things. How do we use it efficiently? It helps us to pay down debt, it helps us to invest, and it helps us to expand the business. And that's what we cover today.
Wow. So, my goodness, it's I love it when it's explained in plain language. It's so much easier to comprehend. We probably got a whole semester's worth right here in 30 minutes. We got people to spend time reading numerous explanations about the definitions and oh my gosh.
Everybody fall asleep with that. We read.
Exactly. And then you want to know why you didn't retain it.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
well, Coach, we want to thank you for opening our eyes all about our cash flow and cash flow movement today. You can find Coach Caren everywhere on Profits in Daily.
Mhm.
She's on Facebook, Instagram, and also if you're looking to book an appointment with her,
Excuse me.
there's her.
There we go.
So you can go to this link and you can book an appointment with Coach Caren Fern and talk directly to her all the way from Toronto, Canada.
Eastern Standard Time.
Oh, Eastern, which is on Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
And Coach, is this still going on? This new
Yeah.
meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's still available. That's still
Okay. So do you
yeah.
want to talk about that for real quick?
Yeah, that's a paid one. That's where I go in and do the auditing. The 30 minutes on Candidly, you're just booking that time for us to have a conversation to see where you are. But this one, I would actually pull up your business. We would go through the business. We'll see where you're at. And we actually would do some work in that hour there. We'll really plow it out, you know,
Right.
and see where those leaks are and get those things fill up.
Okay. So we're going to plug up the links.
Mhm.
Okay. And then you have a course.
And I do have this course. This course really allow you to go in yourself, see where you are, what do you truly want to do, and then plan it out. It really helps you. This little course here helps you with doing it in pictures and words and dreaming and finding out your desires. You're never too old to figure this out. You're never too old, no matter what age you're at. If you know you're stuck and you're not moving, you can go, and this is a self-directed course. It's just $40, and you can work yourself through that stuff. And then when that's done, if you want to book some more time, then you do it.
I love it. All right, guys. So there's something here for everyone. Everybody can
Mhm.
afford $40. Come on.
Yes.
So get your life together.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, Coach, we just want to thank you for everything that you do. Um, and for your faithfulness. You just come in here every week and just pour into us. And I want you to know that those of us watching live and on the replay, we want to say thank you for your time. And I know you appreciate all that Coach Caren does. So send her some love when you watch these videos. And
Yeah.
don't forget to subscribe to the Biz Chicks YouTube
YouTube
channel.
channel.
We'd
Yes.
love for you to be a part of our community. If you have not already done so, you can reach us over here at bizchicks.net, or you can text biz to 33777
Mhm.
and become a part of our community. We'd love to share with others what you do and how you serve. With that, we want to remind you it's okay to make money in your business.
Yes.
Go to the front of your
Your
own
line.
mind.
Yes.
Have a great day. Bye bye, everyone. Thanks again, Coach.
You're welcome.